Isagi has always been very related to me, way more related to me than some other people. Like, I relate to Isagi, I would say I relate to Isagi way more than the average Blue Lock fan. This may or may not be because of his MBTI personality type, because he is also an INFJ like me. I'll get into why that has to do and why that also relates to his character probably some later on. Maybe his characteristics in general, his characteristics, how he interacts with the world, how he interacts with some characters. I'm making this review because of the latest chapter. The latest chapter forced me to make this review and I have to get my thoughts out. As of reading Blue Lock, the latest chapter is chapter 147. And spoiler, this is going to be spoiler heavy review, so if you have not caught up to Blue Lock at all, or you're still like halfway, click off now because this will be spoiler heavy. So, the latest chapter. Blue Lock has just beaten the under 20 Japanese team, and Isagi, as we all predicted, or we probably all didn't predict it, but Isagi, it made sense, scored the winning goal that broke the tie and gave Blue Lock the victory. I feel like everything that's happened in Blue Lock was for this very moment. This chapter symbolizes what Blue Lock was about in the first place. I believe, just briefly, my opinion on Blue Lock was everything that happened in Blue Lock is for Isagi. It's for Isagi and people that can connect to Isagi like me. Isagi scored the winning goal. The way he did it was just insane. His talent, Isagi's talent. This chapter just symbolizes why Isagi and his strange talent surpasses everyone, surpasses so many other people, and only a fair few of people in the Blue Lock manga can see this. That's why I feel like some characters are better than others. My overall opinion about Blue Lock is that every character and every moment in Blue Lock is to help Isagi develop in some way, because as we know, Isagi's the MC. Every character in Blue Lock is to help Isagi's growth, Isagi's development. They're just some characters that are influential to Isagi a bit more. And these are some characters, I'll just say my top three. My top three characters in Blue Lock is Isagi, and after that it's everyone else basically. So I feel like, this is my opinion, every character in Blue Lock is there to help Isagi, Yoichi, Isagi in some way, but it's just that Rin and Ego are just more influential or more impactful to Isagi more. That's why they are top three. That's why they are like the best two characters. Ego, I would say one. He's the closest person to know or see the potential that Isagi has, like, if that makes sense. You could say because he's smart and anything else, but Ego's intuition, Ego's knowledge has helped him to like know, like, Isagi is one to watch. Isagi is dangerous. Isagi is like amazing. He saw the massive amount of potential. He's the closest one to know the amount of potential in Isagi. And second, Rin. Rin was like a rival to Isagi. Rin was the reason Isagi was able to achieve his flow in the first place, to develop and flourish his talent in the first place. And even though they were like polar opposites, Isagi saw Rin as someone he just had to. If he wanted to be at his prime, he had to overcome. So yeah, I'll go into this chapter, this latest chapter of Blue Lock 147. As of recording this video, it's 147. Blue Lock I've just finished. I've just beat the under 20s. I'll go into this chapter later on, but I want you guys, I want to give some background, some character development from the start to the end, and a bit of explanation so you guys can understand my perspective and my opinions about this chapter before I go into this chapter in depth. And so every corner that literally made this chapter so great and made this chapter what it was. Isagi is a INFJ. If you don't know what that is, it's like an MBTI, like it's your personality type. You can find out yours online. Isagi is the same as me, which I wasn't even surprised about. I saw that I had a passion and more relatability to Isagi than the average Blue Lock reader. And there's some traits that comes with each personality type, which I feel like it correlates with his talent on the pitch, because everyone in Blue Lock have their own talents. Some players have like skills. Some players they'll be able to sprint. Isagi's is spatial awareness, like put spatial awareness and prowess. Like, he can see a goal before it actually happens, and I feel like some INFJ traits falls into it. So his character, the author knew what he was doing into making Isagi a INFJ. So I'm just going to give you some points and info about what makes an INFJ. So INFJs are known as advocates. So those are like people that actually help people. They're selfless. We are happy through helping people. But Blue Lock is literally the opposite of that. It promotes ego. It promotes ego. It literally propagates success through egotistic playing. Like, it's the opposite of what Isagi is meant to be. And the fact that he was able to develop in this way, to have this egotistical mindset, to score that goal in the final, everything that's happened for him to score, that's development in itself. Just that alone is developing in itself, and it's insane how he's being able to go while still being aware of what's around him as well. Introverted intuition. Well, intuition is basically knowing things without not knowing why you know it. And Isagi is spatial awareness. Like, he's able to know things. He's able to predict a goal and things like that. I feel like that it doesn't directly, but it falls into his talent on the pitch. His feeling. He's very emotional. He can get very emotional, and he does. Obviously, towards the start and towards we're getting to the middle where he came into Blue Lock and he's getting to know everyone, he was actually down in himself. We seen he wasn't physically, he wasn't the most talented out of everyone. You saw Rin, you saw other characters, and he started down himself. But he used that, he didn't let that bring him down. But instead of bringing him down, he used others for his own growth. And that's what we basically seen in the first chapter. I wouldn't say like used, but he capitalized on others around him for him to grow as well. He whether that was emotionally, whether that was physically, whether that was anything else. Isagi that's his sense of intelligence. Isagi's intelligence is feeling and judgment intuition. Judgment personality, that's another thing he does. That's another thing that helped him when let's go back to that match. That's another thing that helped him know that where that ball was gonna go for him to shoot and score. Like, he knew for some reason, because you see in that last match, he somehow knew that's Rin and Sai, which I'll come back later to. Rin and Sai's dynamic, the older brother and younger brother, he somehow knew that they would fight, and he somehow knew that Rin will somehow block the ball and it will go over him. As you see that panel, you know that panel where it goes black and white, you see Isagi come in, intercepts and just scores the goal. He somehow knew that was going to happen. It's just a win. He has an incredible awareness that's no one can explain. But like I said before, only Ego was able to see this. Nobody else apparently could. Even Rin himself, Rin knew that Isagi wasn't just a average football player, but he didn't know, like, he didn't have the knowledge like Ego, like he was this good in spatial awareness. Maybe not physically, but his goal power, his vision, his things like that. That's why I feel like he's second, because he was there to motivate Isagi to do better and to bring out that egotistical flow outside of him. The Ego was there to Ego had the sense that Isagi had this special talent. Ego had the sense. He's the only one who has the sense of that. That's what I believe. But everyone else, but Rin is the closest. Rin is there to like push Isagi, make him determined, make him do this, make him do that. As you saw, Isagi capitalized on Rin through his own character. through how he is. And I'm telling you now, there's a 70% chance Isagi was in flow. He wouldn't even have known how he did that. That was true instinct to self. But yeah, that was just a little description of some traits in INFJ. The start, Isagi, we see his development, like throughout the manga, Isagi's development has just been amazing. The start, he was the complete opposite. He was the typical school book INFJ to the T. The typical school book MC. He starts off as shy, literally helpless. I guess he did have the natural talent, but he wasn't as good as other players. His physicality, he was pretty much mid. He was pretty much average in Blue Lock at the start. But when he started knowing it, when he started like getting to know everyone, realizing the stakes, he had to push himself. He had to change his mindset. And he grew and grew and grew with that mindset. Rin at the start was more boastful. He was more brave because he knew his skills would take him far anyway. And Isagi saw this and somehow, and again, used Rin to be determined, to be like Rin, to be better than Rin. That's why I feel like Rin is a good character as well. And as we go on with the story, one main thing I feel like that affected Isagi's development as a whole was his interaction with players. Getting a lot of people to like him, I guess. He was likable in a way. He was likable. Even though he wasn't like the best physically, he was likable because everyone still saw he was still good at football, but he was still likable. Of course, he was still looked down by some people, but they were like the best at the time. And Isagi was still going, I guess. Rin, on the other hand, like I said, he was just one. His goal, what pushed Rin was to be better than Sai, his older brother. I think that's why Rin was like that in the first place. Not even think, that was the reason he was like that. He just wanted to do anything. He didn't want anything else in the way. He just focused on be better than Sai. He wanted Sai to just acknowledge him, basically. That's what kept him driving. But Isagi didn't have anything like that. Isagi just wanted to be better. Isagi just wanted to have self-confidence in himself. Isagi wanted to be seen. Isagi wanted to be praised. And through Blue Lock, I feel like Blue Lock's changed him a lot as well. He brought his egotistical side, especially from a person like him. But because of that, his talent was able to show. There were a lot of disadvantages to Isagi as well. Like, he's not perfect. Like, pretty much every person, he isn't perfect. He still messes up. When he messes up, he can overthink at times. That is a massive trait he overthinks and he gets scared and he lets his emotions get the better of him at times. But he recovers from that because he knows his end goal and ego. He knows what people are counting on him, especially that much. He knows because of that. That's what made him. That's the main reason. That's the key. One of the keys that made him get through Blue Lock. Even though he's an overthinker, he's emotional, he's a feeler, and all that. He knew the expectations. He knew what he had to do, and he stuck by that. No, the match itself. I feel like Blue Lock would not have been able to win that if it wasn't for two things. If Rin and Sai didn't have this dispute, of course, and two, if Isagi wasn't even playing. That's why I keep coming back to Ego. That's why I keep saying Ego is the second person, the only person to sense how incredible Isagi is, and his talent, his intuition, his spatial awareness, his goal sense. He was the closest person to see that, and because of him and Isagi, they were able to win. Like the dynamic alone, the dynamic between Rin and Sai alone, Rin just wanting to be better than his brother, and Sai just always looking down at Rin because ultimately he was because of that. Because Rin just didn't want to look past as being better than him. It was just, I wanted Sai just to see me, to acknowledge me. Until the end, when he cracked, when he just went ham, when he just went madness. He was into flow. He just didn't care about the end. And remember, he had his tongue out and everything. He just went ham. He was like, I don't give a F anymore. And nobody, I don't want anyone to get in my way. I'm winning this by myself. I want to be the best. Rin changed. Rin went 100. Rin went 100 so quick. Sai saw this, and Sai, both of them had a dispute. And the chapter before the latest chapter, you can see Isagi like already predicting this in his head. There was a panel where it's basically him at the side, and it's basically the ball's like in front of him, and Rin and Sai got the ball, and he's like predicting this. He's thinking while these two are while Rin is dribbling in front of Sai. That's how chapter 146 ended. Predominantly, like 70% or 80% of the latest chapter is basically that dynamic, that conversation, that dialogue through and fro. Actually, no, that dialogue, that through and fro was actually 146 as well. Just Sai and Rin just talking. Rin's just like, get out of my way, Rin, I'm going to surpass you as well. And Sai's like, oh, you still have a long way to go. And it's just frustrating. That clash was just insane. Isagi, okay, everyone saw that clash, but Isagi was the only one who knew that he could capitalize on this because of his intuition, his talent on the pitch. He was able to see that goal while they were still talking. And towards the last panel, it showed if you were able to pay attention, he showed that Isagi already saw the goal. He saw the goal while they were still clashing, while they were still arguing. Sai and Rin was still arguing. And 147 comes, and you just see just talking just stopped. It was mainly just panel. I think Sai was dribbling so much and Rin was keeping ahead of him and everything. And you just see Rin stick a leg out, and he was able to tackle him. And as you see that tackle, the next panel is just Isagi zooming. He saw the future. He just zooming, intercepts the ball, and shoots and scores the goal. That one panel symbolizes everything that Isagi has been working for. Since he came to Blue Lock, everything he has been working for since he came to Blue, literally, with his talent flourish, and everyone will be able to see that. And then the next thing you see is Ego's panel, his ego in the next panel, as he draws the sigh of relief. He's just there like, yes, I made this a good decision. And he knows inside himself is that, wow. I think he knew from the start that Blue Lock were gonna win. He knew that if they wanted to beat the under-20s, something like this had to happen. And who would be better to do it than the person who has like intuition, perfect vision of a good goal in the first place. This was literally the only way they were going to beat the under-20s. Tactics had to be thrown. Like, it was 3-3. There was no way a legitimate, objective tactic was going to beat them. Was going to score. They might draw, or they would have even lost if they just stuck to plans. Something like that flow, Isagi's flow, which was literally the best, was the only way they were going to win. That's how they won. Isagi finally devoured both Rin and Sai's flow, and that moment literally made me scream because I was like, you two are arguing over there, but this is the real deal right here. The author made us just, even though that dynamic itself, that piece of that dialogue, that clash between Sai and Rin, even though it has so many levels to it, it was so amazing. It was literally so, you were just there for it. It was so engaging how they were just talking. Rin was just like, get out of my way. He had his tongue out, like he went mad, and then Sai's just trying to dribble past him, saying, oh my days, that dynamic, especially with all the backstory they've had as well, all the backstory the author gave us to make that moment, the way it was. That wasn't even the main focus. That's what made that chapter 10 out of 10. That wasn't the main focus. The focus in the end was still Isagi, as it always has been. That moment there was there also as every other moment to help Isagi's character development, and it was able to help Isagi release his full flow its full potential, and we were able to see it even before the latest chapter. That's what I think. That was probably the best 10 out of 10 chapter. That's why I feel like Isagi is already ST to me. For a Blue Lock, it propagates. For a project that propagates your ego, able to successfully football through your ego, and a main character who is basically an advocate, the INFJ, an advocate who is selfless, to be able to adapt in a Blue Lock. That's why those panels were able to symbolize that growth, that immense, that insane, that spectacular growth from Isagi. And how these players, Ego, Rin, and Sai, okay, Sai was there to support Rin, to click something inside Isagi. Ego was there to also support Isagi. But all three of them, in their own way, were able to support Isagi. Every character in Blue Lock, some way or another, is there to support Isagi's development. Even if it's not directly, it's still gonna somehow help in Isagi's development and help us engage and see this character, see the potential and the greatness in Isagi. That is why I feel like, even though it was predictable that Blue Lock were going to win, it wasn't really about Blue Lock going to win. That was predictable. It was about everything. It was about growth. That's what Blue Lock has always been about: psychological growth, emotional growth, character growth, and your awareness from other characters and from other people. And it was just there. It was just seen. We all knew Blue Lock was gonna win. It was how it was going to be written, and it was written the best it could be, in my opinion. And it's moved Blue Lock to like about a 9.5. I'll say Isagi's already a 10 out of 10 character, ST, to me. Of course, every individual character has their own like little like development, has their own little investment that we get through them. The characters in Blue Lock. Ultimately, everyone there it's like a little helping spot for us to see how great Isagi is as the MC. To help us see Isagi. It was always about Isagi in the first place. Even though, like, yes, Rin and Sai you could say is probably the greatest clash, the best contrast in Blue Lock right now. But even that writing in itself, as great as it was still also to help Isagi, as we've seen in the latest chapter. And I keep reiterating that because I feel like that is amazing, and it was symbolized throughout the latest episode. It symbolizes what Blue Lock really was about. It symbolizes growth. It symbolizes development. It symbolizes like developing all aspects, psychological, emotional, and it symbolizes how different it is. It symbolizes its change. It symbolizes how out of the box of a concept Blue Lock is. Because I know I've seen a lot of people, especially football fans, they don't like the concept of Blue Lock because, of course, yes, I've seen a lot of some YouTubers as well. Of course, yes, football is not really an egotistical game. It's more of a team game, and yeah, the author of Blue Lock is trying to propagate. Oh yeah, you have to use your ego. You're only playing in yourself through Blue Lock. But yeah, it's not really about that. That ego block is just to express and present all these other characters, their greatness. They think it's disrespectful for football, but me, I feel like it's his change. It's just an idea, really. The author just brought in an idea, a new way of looking at football through Blue Lock, and it's just a story. It's just a story that's been and is being told really well, using the egotistic. It's fine. I feel like using ego in the ego theme in a sports manga, especially football, it's different. It just shows you something different, and it's exciting. That's what you want. I've already said this is already a 10 out of 10 chapter. This arc is already a 10 out of 10. This is the first 10 out of 10 arc. The future of Blue Lock is I feel like the end of Blue Lock will obviously make me give it a 10. I feel like it's not a 10 yet. I don't know why I'm still like this. It's currently at 9.5, which is just so stingy. But yeah, it will be a 10 at the end of it. This match will, of course, make more people more people that are closer to Isagi, who are more influential and impactful to influential to Isagi's growth, will be able to see, will focus more on Isagi. I feel like Rin will focus less on Sai now after this match, and he'll focus more on Isagi, because he will have like this, he will have an emotional struggle. I believe that he will have a struggle of him thinking that Isagi is better than him. He will always want to be better than Isagi. Isagi will be calm. He will be humble, but Rin will have an internal battle with himself, thinking that he's not better. He's not good with himself. Isagi is better than him, and he probably never knew. He underestimated Isagi, and some other people might see that. I feel like Rin will be the next to sense how great Isagi is and his talent is, and through his sense of Isagi's talent and hidden ability, that's how he will be able to grow next. That will be his next development, and that will be his next shining in Blue Lock. That's what I believe for Rin. Like, the moment he is able to sense that, like Ego is, in my opinion, that's just a theory that I think like Ego is able to sense it already. But the moment he is able to sense it, his true ability, that will be his development. He will be able to go through that. That will be his growth in Blue Lock for the future. And that again takes me back to the fact that I said Isagi is, as well as a learner, he's a helper as well. If directly and indirectly. In this case, it's indirectly, because Rin's source of development now is Isagi. After this match, he's gonna look at Isagi and so on. He needs to surpass. When he senses Isagi's true strength, or a little bit of Isagi's true ability, that is the moment he's heading. That is the path he's heading to be better than Sai, in my opinion. And not only just for Rin, that is for every other character in Blue Lock. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say is, Isagi is the key for Blue Lock's success in the future. Even after the under-20s, look, Isagi, whether he likes it or not, he is going to be helping and getting help from the same people he is learning from. Those are the same people he is going to, those are the same people that are going to develop from him. He is the key. And Ego, I said before, was able to see this. That is just another reason why I feel like Isagi is so important to this manga. Why he, as the main character, is so well written in an incredible way. It's not even, I wouldn't say it's complex, but it's not easy to understand his character. But that's why I feel like he's relatable, because he's not complex, but he's not easy to understand his purpose in Blue Lock. The parallel of Isagi learning from all these players in Blue Lock, yet directly and indirectly helping, like others getting help from understanding Isagi more. What makes Isagi so great is a hidden ability, how he works. That is what will push Blue Lock forward. Learning more about Isagi, motivated from him, from his helping sense, is what is going to make Blue Lock an A-team in the future. They will develop together while Isagi is trying to develop and learn more. Like, they are learning from him as well, and what makes Isagi so great, and why his ability is this. What makes his ability this good? This is what's going to take Blue Lock higher and higher, and it's going to make him literally the best youth team as far as this manga can go. And everything I'm touching right now, past, present, and future, has been symbolized in this chapter, symbolized and encompassed in this chapter. That's why I feel like this latest chapter, 147, is the best chapter of Blue Lock, and it's the first, it initiated the first 10 out of 10 arc in Blue Lock. Isagi will continue to grow. He will be more humble, I would say. Isagi has his egotistical side to help him flourish in matches and in Blue Lock, but of course he's still INFJ. He can't run away from his personality. He will still keep that humble side of him, and it's just in his nature. Like, that's how he grows. His humble side is how he grows. That's how he learns. He learns from other people. He learns from helping others, and he learns from striving to do better, to do what others are doing, and even better. You see, like, we've seen him. We've seen it. That's how he's grown. That's the only way he could have grown, and that was the only way they were able to win this match. There was no tactic in the world objectively they could win this, in my opinion. These were the under 20s. That defense alone was mad. There was no objective tactic that could be that. It was Isagi's flow, not any other person's flow. It was only Isagi's flow that could make them win in the end. Ego himself will focus more on Isagi. He might even have like private sessions, private sessions with Isagi, knowing, trying to figure out what makes Isagi Isagi, why Isagi is this talented. He might do that because he's a researcher. He likes to gain knowledge. He's knowledgeable himself. So I see Ego working more and one-on-one and more like individually with working more and close with Isagi after this match. And if we're not coming closer to the end of Blue Lock, hopefully we're not. Hopefully we still got like a few arcs. Yeah, Blue Lock could potentially be one of the best. One of the best. I would say it's already top 10. I'll say it's already top 5. Top 5 sports mangas, even mangas in general. It's like Blue Lock 9.5 out of 10. Isagi 9.5 out of 10. 10 out of 10 MC. MC. But yeah, that's just my thoughts and my perspective and opinions on Isagi and Blue Lock in general. You'll notice that I've really been talking about like 4 characters: Eigo, Rin, Sai. I just wanted to focus on the top characters that I feel like are most impactful to Isagi, because if I didn't, I'll probably be talking for ages, and I don't want to do that. But yeah, and yeah, you could tell this is like, I really don't make review videos. I just wanted to do this, get my voice, get my opinions out, because I love Blue Lock. So yeah, if you see me doing any of this for a series, it just shows you how much I love a series. I don't normally do this. I'm not a talker. I'm not a reviewer. I can't talk forever. I just start stumbling on my words, and yeah, that's just me. But yeah, man, if you want to see more of this, just let me know in the comments, and let me know what you think of Isagi. If you read, and what you think the future of Blue Lock would be, if you agree with my points. And yeah, how was your feelings reading the latest chapter of Blue Lock? But yeah, if you like this review, like, subscribe, show support, go follow my content. I normally do reactions and stuff. I just wanted to do a review video and get my opinions about Blue Lock out. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe for that content, follow me on Twitter. Let's get to that sub goal, guys, of 200 subs. I'm currently on 142, I think. But yeah, see you later next time. See you later. And yeah, peace.